when I started uploading to YouTube, I never once wanted to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a voice actor.
Yeah.
So if you got to see my journey from barely functional, doesn't know how to record, and is still recording in stereo for some reason, to my most recent video.
No. Wait a minute. I've heard that before.
Hello, and welcome back to Cold Read the Podcast. Now, if you're new to this show, then let me start off by saying hello, and welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. And if you are a returning listener, then hello, and welcome back to Cold Read the Podcast. Now, if you're new to this show, then let me start off by saying hello, and welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. Now, if you were listening close enough, then you would have noticed that I changed Cold Read to Cold Mead the third time I said it, which leads me to, actually, quick sidebar. Cold mead is the worst thing ever. Don't even think of coming at me on this one. If you're not warming up your mead before you drink it, then frankly, I am disappointed in you and I hope that you make better choices in the future. Anyways, back to the point. As I continue to venture on into the massive world that is audio production, I wanted to compare it against voice acting since the two go hand in hand in many ways. And I really wanted to start sharing my own knowledge and experience that I think could benefit you as a voice actor. What am I talking about? I'm talking about training your ear. Similarly to how you work to improve your voice, improving your listening is equally as important. When you first start out, it is super imperative to take note of when you've made a mistake or your recording isn't quite what you want it to be. Pops, clicks, dry mouth, background noise, all of this is going to be your downfall if you don't teach yourself to identify them while you're recording. But once you have, then you will notice a pretty large step in productivity. An hour in the booth can be shortened to 30 minutes, and that means less time editing your audio too. However, that's not to say that in order to train your ear, you should analyze only your audio. You are going to drive yourself insane and grow to overanalyze your own voice. Well, at least that's what happened to me. Your mileage may vary. Instead, I learned a method that will not only aid you here, but might make life more enjoyable. Now, since I really don't want to drive you away, because, we're getting to the show here in a couple of minutes, I want to say that this is far more effective when you can be outside or in an area that has a fair amount of noise going on. And I don't mean like a construction site, like that would be terrible. Think more of an office building or a coffee shop. But for the time being, I'm going to get you started. In a moment, I'm going to play 15 seconds of audio, and in that moment, I want you to try and note every individual thing that you hear. Really pay attention to singling out specific sounds. I highly recommend using headphones for this. You'll have a far better time. All right, audio playing in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome back to Cold Read the Podcast. Now, if you're new to the show, then let me start off by saying, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. So, what did you hear? Drop it in the chat, or leave a comment below. Thank you so much for dropping by and sacrificing your soul to... Thank you for spending every waking moment consuming the flesh of the shell. Hello. And welcome back to Cold Read the Cold Read. Now, if you are still, welcome back to Cold Read the Pod, hello. And welcome back to your shallow grave. Now, if you're new to the idea of being buried alive, then let me start off by saying, there is nothing you can say or do to prevent our return.
I'm gonna, again, let that sink in for just a moment. I've done this a couple of times.
So happy.
Well, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. I feel like I don't even need to say it at this point.
Just
hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to Cold Read the Podcast. Now, if you're new here, let me start off by saying...
Halt.
Okay, so Welcome, everybody. Thank you that are here. Thank you for everybody who's in chat. Thanks for everybody who's watching this on YouTube or anybody where you can get your podcast. Welcome to the show. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you want us to talk about, you can email us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to join our Discord. We love to get new people in. Love the community. We love to grow. So there's a link in the description. You can go ahead and join there. And also, we'd love to hear your audio. We did our last episode on people's audios, and we look forward to hopefully having an opportunity to do that again in the future. So, yes, Eldurrino is definitely repeating themselves. Hello to everybody again, once again. So, thanks, and let's go ahead and do a quick check-in after that very, very fascinating intro by Eldurrino.
So, I love messing with people. In case you couldn't tell.
No kidding.
And before anyone asks, this has it is not leading to anything. I'm sorry.
Aww.
It was just literally
I
wanted to lower everyone's guard by making it, insightful and humorous, and then all of a sudden it just gets really weird.
I was just I was trying to hear Shesmu at any moment, at any point during any of that. So. Hey, see. Fucking knew it, right? So theory brain active.
Okay, well, with all that out of the way, let's check in. So, Renara, how has your week been?
It's been because mental health is doing this currently, but I'm doing what I need to do in order to be good. I have hopefully finished my Dunma. I'm waiting for basically them to have a look through that, and if any more retakes or new lines, because they do add new lines. I am working on my American accent for my next character in it. I'm also working on my Khajiit accent for Beyond Sky Rim Elsewhere. Those were words. Because they're getting towards finalizing an accent description for that, so I'm going, okay, need to do a bit of practice on that. I am doing my best with the Assassin and the Desert. It's just taking its time, and I mean, Fire definitely I showed Fire the amount I have left to do for the next thing, and he went, "You're just doing BBC level radio shows on your own. What are you doing, you mad woman?" And I'm there going, yeah, no, that sounds about right. Yeah. Other than that, I am just taking it one day at a time, going forward and seeing where the road may take me.
Cool.
Nice.
May I say thank you for the shorts that you've been putting out on YouTube.
You are very most welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are a lot of fun to do, actually. I've just realized I've been the crotchety old millennial in the corner going, I'm not going to do shorts. I don't understand them. No, I refuse. And now I'm like, I actually really like these. They're not that bad. So.
Oh, good. Thank you again. Eldurrino, how's your week been?
Not particularly eventful, but just still focusing on audio production stuff, which I subscribe to Skillshare, and I've been taking a class that overall its material spans about 7.5 hours.
Yikes.
And I am rough. Well, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is going to be super in depth. This is exactly what I want, because I love knowing every specific detail of something. And I'm about halfway through it, maybe 60%, and it hasn't been doing what I was hoping it'd be doing by now. And then I found this guy on YouTube the other day who does like his own private classes, and he puts out videos on his YouTube, and I watched 3 of them. And I have learned more in those 3 videos than I have from 4 hours of material nearly. So,
wow.
Yeah, kind of strange, but I mean, I know that people that do stuff on Skillshare aren't teachers. I'll say they're not teachers. They may know their material, or they may know their product, but they may not be good at teaching it to others. So,
boy, that sounds like a show that we put on from time to time, don't you think?
I know, isn't that weird?
It's weird.
I like to think that I give good advice, but that's what we all think, I suppose. So now I just look like a smug asshole.
Woo! I got it down.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Self-aware. Yeah. So I just really did that. Tried to work on music a little bit. and then did the intro. Oh, and I will be recording my own character, redoing my character, and starting my commercial demo reels this week. So that'll be going out into the ether. Very excited about that. Yeah, and then it's back onto the hamster wheel and auditioning until I can't breathe.
Yep, that all sounds familiar. Well, thank you, Eldurrino.
Thanks.
Okay. So personally, I just got out of the booth right now. I did all of my lines for War of the Bounty Hunters, which will be from that Star Wars audio drama group. Hopefully it'll be out, a couple months. That's actually the first time I've been in the booth since I got a bit better. Of course, we backslide, we go forward, so it stuff happens. What can you do? So I agree with Renara. Mental health is a huge thing. You got to make sure you stay on top of it, and that's a big thing that I'm working on today. So make sure everybody out there. I mean, this is a tough job. This is a tough hobby. Don't let it bring you down, and just make sure to always get back up if you do. So that's where I'm at.
Look for a hug if you need it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
We have a guest today. So Zander, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you want ZandyrWolf or do you want Zander just okay?
Xander's perfectly fine.
Well,
Wolf is, fun fact, Wolf is not actually my last name. Kind of want it to be now, though.
Oh,
sounds nice. It rolls off the tongue well.
Right? Well, before we get into your story of how you got into where you are, voice acting wise and everything else, how has your week been?
It's been a pretty fun week, a little hectic. This past Monday, we had our first workshop of the year at the Arizona Voice Acting Guild. We coached a group of students through a scene from Azumanga Daioh, which was super fun, very kooky and over the top. Wednesday is my usual D&D, and I count that as voice acting practice.
Yes.
Always fun every week. And then there's been auditions. I've auditioned whenever I can, a few projects out there, going over lines for personal projects. We usually do every Thursday we do our own private workshop in my personal server where we usually just go through video games and add voices to that. We're currently doing Omori and Omori one week, Ace Attorney the following week. So it's been a fun ride. We just finished Night in the Woods as well. So I do this every time. I do all this stuff throughout the entire week, and then I hit Saturday, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything. What am I doing?
Yes.
Oh, I think we have all experienced that at some point throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
I have a list in my head that's like every day I got 20 things I want to get done, and if one of them comes off my list, I'm happy. Normally, it doesn't happen though, so I'm with you.
At least if you get one done, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say hello to Magmorta. I also want to say, Eldurrino, stop glitching out, please. If anybody wants to know what we're talking about.
Who's Eldurrino?
Oh, for the love of the maker. Really? Are we going down this route now?
Okay.
As one of my favorite characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender would say, it's pretty fun messing with people.
Hey,
all right.
I can barely get sarcasm. This is gonna mess me so bad.
Well, all right, I'm done. Sorry.
No problem. Zander, so let's go down from the very beginning. So when did you start getting into the whole voice acting thing?
So I always find this, there's a way to answer it two different ways. Cause I think officially I started voice acting, about 5 years ago. 5 years ago this week, actually. I think my first comic dub went up on my YouTube in I want to say January 18th of 2018. But I feel like I've been studying voice acting for 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was, I think 7, 8 years old, when you're a kid watching TV, especially during, I think I was growing up in the mid to late 2000s, and it doesn't take a lot to suddenly be like, hold on, I've heard that person from that thing, and that character sounds like that thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start cataloging this and seeing where these pop up. And it was a really good time for that too. Funimation was just coming into its own. We were still listening to Kevin Conroy's 1990s Batman series. which incredible voice acting work
Oh, yeah.
across the board in that.
Mm.
And I was also really getting into anime. I feel like when I was like 4 years old and my memory turned on, I'm like, I like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. So I've been following these for years now. Not to say all the crazy stuff that was going on online at the time when YouTube kicked in.
Yes.
Suddenly that whole voice acting era, those people who are now in the industry who crawled in from YouTube or Tumblr or Newgrounds. I was like,
Oh, Newgrounds.
at some point I was like, I can't do this. I have so much in my brain about this. I need to jump into this.
Right.
Which was a little difficult at first because I was one of the actors who had like crippling stage fright as a kid. I didn't want to act in front of anybody. See, Renara knows.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's hard.
I think
it hurts.
I think the first thing I ever acted in was in my senior year of high school. Did a production of a play called You Can't Take It With You. Very good story, by the way.
Okay.
And after that like 3-night run, I went, yeah, I think I want to do this like all the time.
Nice.
Tried to do stage acting, wasn't really quite working out for a few years. And eventually I ended up buying my first microphone and audio interface. And
Ooh, okay.
I'm one of those people who really stresses about like, if I don't have every little thing accounted for, I won't start anything. It's like the hardest step for me is starting a project. It's like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to record? And then I guess one winter in January, I was like, I could just record this in my car.
Yeah.
And I did for months. And it sounded awful. And I was so proud of it.
Yeah.
You would be surprised because the car does have a lot of, I mean, as long as you're not like in a busy place, a car's got a lot of good treatment in it.
Well, it's rounded so that the reflections aren't nearly as bad.
Yeah.
It was a good start. Eventually I had the common sense to bring a blanket in there with me, started playing around with trying to figure out how to make things sound decent. Eventually I did manage to bring everything inside and everything immediately sounded better in a properly treated room.
Yeah.
And that was in 2018 and I have just been going and going and going since.
Cool. So you did your comic dub. What is there a particular comic that you did or?
I started off, what was it? I think I was just scrolling through Tumblr one day and I found a like 2-panel Cuphead comic that made me laugh. It was just Cuphead going, "Oh, what's the matter, little fella? Bad at video games?" And I was like, I want to voice that.
I want that. Me be that, yes.
Yes, that me, please.
That me, please, yes.
Was this a solo project or did you bring other people on?
Mostly solo at the beginning. For the first, I want to say 6 months, I kind of got on casting call and started auditioning, but it was mostly just finding whatever comic dubs made me personally laugh and then posting them onto my YouTube because I was like, this is good practice. As long as it makes me laugh, maybe I'll make somebody else laugh.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, and you mentioned your first mic. What was what I always have to ask. What was your first mic?
I actually started a little bit. I started on an AT2020 with my with my Scarlett Solo interface.
Goddamn.
I know. I was fortunate enough to be able to purchase both of those at once. It was only like $200 for me, which this is a lot of money, but it was a good start. Because through plenty of like the months leading up to trying to finally do this, I wanted to start off right. I didn't want to do a headset mic because those personally made me angry.
Don't hide, Renara. I saw you starting to.
There is no shame in starting off on a headset mic, but even out the gate, I was like, I don't want to listen to this. Everyone I know is using XLR. I can probably go to a Guitar Center and not do that. But I'm glad you started on a headset mic, though. You got the head start. You were brave enough to start right from the gate.
Oh, it was more the fact of I wanted to piss off my roommate, so I didn't care. But hey.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'll just sit in the corner and be with my headset mic.
Oh.
And yeah, I loved that microphone. It lasted me up until just this year is when I actually upgraded. A friend gave me a 2035, which I've been liking a little bit more. And then I upgraded my interface. It's a SSL2, which I've been really enjoying. I think all of my stuff sounds a lot better now.
Nice. Is generally where you are right now, because for those people that are listening, we can see that Xander is sitting in a closet with clothes behind them. So
welcome to my booth.
That was a question. Yeah. Did you immediately move into the booth, or is this kind of an ongoing?
Oh goodness, no. I have gone through so many different versions of booths across several different houses, across several different states. I currently live in Las Vegas, Nevada, but I am originally from Warwick, Rhode Island, way up in the Northeast. And we did not have any walk-in closets like this back there. This is like magic to me.
I bet. Heidi Sprite in chat says the closet booth is the best one.
Correct, Heidi. Thank you.
Because I know, there's been many a times before. I know I upgraded to my booth, and then Eldurrino to. It was the blanket over the head, or it was the tinny room, or something to that effect. So it's nice to see that you were able to find your space and then work from there. So very cool. All right, so 2018 rolls along, and you've got your first dubbing project. Did you particularly like spend time in a particular website, or how did you expand your process from there?
So I mostly started on Casting Call. What is it? Just going for any projects that I could find that seemed even remotely interesting to me. Just hammering away at that. Got cast for a few things here and there. Most of those projects fall apart. So is the way of Casting Call.
Yeah.
But I tried to keep a mindset of, even if the project doesn't get off the ground, you might be able to walk away with something, whether having learned better mic etiquette or learning how to, engage with other people. Sometimes you might find another cast member from a failed project. Right. I have a project I work on right now, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but he's now one of the main voices for a project I've been doing for the last few years. And that was from my first failed project. I was like, yes, at least I got something out of this one.
Yeah.
And it does tend. I mean, most of us were. I met Renara through one of Matt Mann's projects in Casting Call Club, and that's how we got this whole thing up and going. And let me say real quick, Big Max, thank you so much for gifting that sub over to Fire and Brimstone, much appreciated. For those of you listening, you ever want to catch us live, we're live on Twitch at noon. Link is in the description. I'll go ahead and put it right there. So I see, and I'm looking at the information that we were provided. You've got your YouTube channel that's up. And then when did you get involved with the Arizona team?
That was actually right around the time I moved out here. Probably I want to say like 8 months after I moved out or something like that. So my partner who I moved out here with has known this team for quite some time, has gone to the workshops, has competed in their voice acting competition that they hold at Level Up every year. And I was like, that sounds so much fun. Do you want to get like disgustingly competitive about this? And he said, yes, I would. So we both rolled up to Level Up Expo of this 2022.
Okay.
This is the one that Buka was talking about and was running. And the two of us placed top spot in the advanced division. I came in second. He came in first. He beat me by 1 point.
Ooh, oh no. That's never going to be like that.
There's that rivalry.
But from there, the second the workshops actually opened up, I wanted to get in there because I really liked the format. I liked learning. It felt like fun ADR training.
Okay.
I was trying to get as much that I could out of there. And eventually, after a few months in the workshop, I feel like I hit a point where I was like, I think I've learned all I can from this. Can I teach some of our other people
Wow.
in there about this? And they were like, yes, we're always looking for new coaches.
That's awesome.
Which was much the relief of some of the coaches, because sometimes I accidentally hijacked the conversation a little.
Best student in the room, you're starting to teach it.
1000%
Yeah, at that
asking
point,
Luca
no one
about
likes
that.
it. Yeah, I don't like the teacher's pet.
Gotcha.
Just become the teacher.
So how does one become involved? Is it a virtual thing? Is it an in-person thing?
So there, I know that the Arizona chapter does it virtually over their Discord I believe every week. For us, every other week, we actually meet up at the Walnut Community Center. We have a room that we like a space that we can go into. We set up all of our equipment, make sure the mics are good. We have a projector for people for the footage, and we record in there from like 4 in the afternoon to ideally about 8 o'clock at night. It's a good solid 4-hour block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this something that somebody signs up for, or is it a show up type of thing, or?
So yeah, as long as you go into the center and like sign in with them, just so that they know that people are coming in, because if they know they're coming in, they keep letting us, use the center. But from there, yeah, anyone is welcome. It's an all ages panel.
Wow.
Depending on,
If I had the money and the time and the
of
flights,
course.
I would be.
And we'd welcome you. Obviously, the vibe changes a bit depending on who our attendants are, but the scenes we usually prep ahead of time, and there will be consistent. But, if it's a room of all adults, maybe there'll be a swear word here and there. Where if it's kids, everyone's a lot more polite, a lot more welcoming. We try to be as patient as possible.
Gotcha.
This is fun.
So
it is a blast.
I bet. Where do you get the info from? I mean, do you have a website? What are we talking about here?
Lay it up.
So for us, the person who runs it, Nat, actually has a whole archive of anime footage, which might be ripped from various sources. Sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's from the DVDs. That's why we're not allowed to record anything in this room. But yeah, it's mostly how do I put it? Especially, I think it's a lot easier with like DVD and Blu-ray tracks, because you'll have like the actual animation, and then the audio files are like their own separate tracks. So you just delete the dialogue.
Yeah.
And you just record over that.
Okay.
Depending on whatever video software you're using.
Yeah. That's a very good way of doing that.
Do you guys do live thing where you just sort of like, right, we're going to show something and you're going to be that person, you're going to be that person. See what happens. Have you ever done that?
Like as it's happening?
Yeah, like as it's happening, like live sort of, not dubbing per se, but trying. Yeah.
We haven't tried anything like very improv heavy, but that might be an idea at some point if we have some people who are open to it.
Take it, by all means, go for it.
I know me and some of the coaches are actually prepping for Level Up this year. Next month, we are doing something called the Masters Division. Novice and advanced, what you'd usually do is you have your script in front of you, you get to watch the scene play out, you get a couple takes. We usually coach you through it for what we were looking for those characters. We record it, it's played back. Pretty simple. For the Masters, we are going to be rehearsing it beforehand, and the only thing that will be there is the footage and the sound effects and music. We will have our own mics, and we are going to be performing it live as if it were a stage performance.
Nice.
Which is so much fun. I'm very excited.
I bet. Heidi in chat is saying that the idea was thrown around a few times, but nothing ever came of it. So, we've talked about improv and how it does help when you're developing a character and everything else. So Yeah, y'all may be coming up on a good idea here.
Might be something in a workshop. I'm personally terrible at improv. It's my like one Achilles heel, and it's something that I definitely need to work on.
100%.
D&D.
That's true. Yeah, you using any type of role playing game, but as far as your coaching goes, we've not really had an opportunity to speak to someone who would consider themselves a coach. So I need to ask, what secret hacks do you have that you could divulge to aspiring students?
I mean, for me, the most of what I do with coaching is fortunately, I have a group of coaches who we get to like, watch the scene, kind of really break it down in our heads of what we're looking for and kind of talk about like what lines might be tricky, what lines should we keep an eye out for, and how to handle those. The best thing I can always give is listen to what your, performers are going, listen to what your performers are going for and try to figure out how they learn. There are certain people who are much more inclined to learn on like intonation. Like my partner is very much like this. Like, when someone's doing a line delivery, like say I was saying, "Hey man, do you know where the bathroom is?" It's like, why are you inflecting up, inflect down? Like, oh, okay. Hey man, do you know where the bathroom is? It's like, okay, that's much better. Where there are some other people who are a lot more, there are people who need like it's like metaphor learning. Like, someone like you have to like kind of lead them into it. Like, I want you to say this like you are exhausted, like you are just so done with the world, or I'm ready for a fight. Here we go. And you start to, when you work with someone long enough, you start to figure out what they respond to, and that's definitely what I definitely try to drill down on, is just figuring out how they learn and adjusting to that. And also our big thing is we're there to build confidence above anything else. 90% of voice actors who I have found have failed or struggling is because they're nervous and they just don't feel like they can step up to the mic and do it. And they totally can. Literally anyone can do this if they're willing to step up to it. And we want to try to build that confidence in our workshops.
That's so nice. Cool. That's very, very cool.
We share a similar philosophy of it's a journey, it's a path, and everyone's path is different, and everyone's way of walking their path is gonna be different. So
very much,
it's literally just you are you, and what works for you, and how you're learning, and your path is your time frame, and that don't compare oneself to others. And I'm gonna stop there.
That's actually really huge. 100%.
Yeah, that is incredibly important.
Yeah. We're all individual people.
We want to say welcome to Wannabe Voices. And it says thanks for interviewing my homie. So
yes, that's one of my friends.
Gotcha.
Love them dearly.
So you offer coaching services as well. Is this within just that workshop, or do you do them individually too?
Just within that workshop.
Gotcha.
Part of it is definitely learning how to be a better coach for myself, because I'm not perfect. I know that, for one, it is so hard for me to organize my thoughts. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, could you do the thing with the... like, hold on, let me try that again.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely trying to hammer that out and really come down to it. But if for some reason, it comes a day where it seems like people are really benefiting from my specific coaching style, I wouldn't mind opening up a workshop. They say if you're good at something, never do it for free. And I've been doing what I'm good at. I'm really good at voice acting, and I've been doing that for free for years.
Well, you know what the next step is then. Mm-hmm. It is to
Renara's
go.
series.
No.
Well, that's already happened, but we'll get to that in a second.
That's already happened. We're going past that. It is, you know your own worth. So set your prices. Set your prices.
I have been trying to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard. You want experience. Yeah.
It's it feels like a give and take. Like you don't want to overcharge, but you never want to sell yourself short. You're trying to find that perfect middle ground.
but that's when you talk because they're all slight story time with Renara.
Go for it.
I came up with my pricings based off of what I asked these guys, because obviously differences in currency and things like
Right.
that, and I'm there going, I sort of like £15 for this, and then Eldurrino went, no, you are completely underselling yourself, like, no. So I'd say don't be afraid to ask other people, because other people can be more unbiased at looking at your stuff, I'd say. So do not be afraid to set yourself a value to your work, because your stuff is good. And as someone who has directed you on something, I can say your stuff is good, dude. Like,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No button on that one. But thank you for those of us that were thinking about it.
I'm aware. I am so cognizant of that button now. Like,
oh man.
we may have to play it just so that Xander can hear it.
All right, fine. Here we go.
Hey! Just so you can hear it.
There you
go.
Feels so good to hear that live.
Yeah. Well, so okay. So you're sitting down and we're talking about those individuals that are just first getting to do it. So I mean, other than getting over themselves and just saying do it, what other advice do you have for somebody who wants to get to that? And this isn't my last question that I do, but this is generally, since you're in the coaching thing. What's a good thing for somebody to keep in mind while they're doing this?
It's actually kind of building off what Renara says, is that, and this is something I struggle with constantly, but you have to learn how to advocate for yourself. You really need to dig in and not even just know your worth, but let other people know your worth. It's incredibly important. Sometimes opportunities will come to your door. Most times you're going to have to be like that guy, that Cutco knife salesman who walks up to the door, knocks on the door and says, "Excuse me, you have a moment of your time?" And before they slam the door in your face, it's your job to shove your foot in that door and go, "Hold on, I'm not done with my pitch yet."
I love that.
I mean, case in point, I was not invited to be on here. I asked to be on here once those things were opened, and I'm so glad I took that step forward, because this has been a super fun conversation.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. Well, and we absolutely appreciate you being here. And if anybody else would like to be a guest, we still have some slots open for season 5. Please go ahead and get a hold of Eldurrino on Twitter.
Do it.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
I have a question. Microwave. No, I have been slightly binging the Adventure Zone on your channel, Xander, because I started listening to the just past it, and I'm like, how did that come about? Like, because I was looking to see one, I was scoping through the credits going, which one's Xander? And then, but I just thought, as I was going through it, I was like, I am invested in this story. I really like, is this one of your personal projects, or is this a fan dub of an existing comic? How did this come about? It's really cool.
So this is a couple things. So, and this, the meta on meta of this. This is a fan dub of a graphic novel of a D&D podcast.
Okay.
That is spun off from a different podcast from the McElroy brothers. I could probably go layers deeper, but the point is, we'll go right around to it. So when I started getting into D&D, I found the show, The Adventure Zone, and their first season is still, hands down, one of my favorite pieces of fiction that has ever existed. It is very sweet, very sincere. It is a group of 3 brothers and their dad learning how to play D&D, and the story that unfolds. And somewhere along the way, around 2018, actually, they started adapting that series into a graphic novel format. And I went, there is no one else on the internet who is going to try to dub over these.
Yeah.
That's going to be me.
Yes.
And I jumped into it way too fast. I did not know what I was doing. This was like 6-7 months into my voice acting journey.
Wow.
I still didn't really know how to video edit, still didn't know how to audio edit, and it shows in those first few episodes. But eventually it really came together, and love the crew that I work with. This is one of my favorite things that I work on pretty consistently. Sometimes I struggle with getting comic dub uploads. The graphic novel, like the Taz dub stuff, I will do this until there is no more story to do, or until someone specifically tells me to stop.
You get that cease and desist letter through the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, I am the exact same with my because I'm doing a audio drama of the Assassins and the Descent, that like a known book series, because I fell in love with the story, and if the story's there and if the characters are there, you just fall in love with that, and you go, I don't care, I'm just gonna do this and see what happens. And
yeah,
I think it's I think it's good that you have, like, you still show all your old stuff, because it's so important for people to see where people start and where they end up, and I think it's admirable to keep things like that out there, because I've seen loads of YouTube channels that will hide all of their old stuff because they don't like people seeing it, but I think it's as somebody in a similar boat going, yeah, I see you, I get you, this is awesome, dude.
I think it's good to be warts and all. When I started uploading to YouTube, I never once wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to be a voice actor. So if you got to see my journey from barely functional, doesn't know how to record, and is still recording in stereo for some reason, to my most recent video.
No. Wait a minute. I've heard that before.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone's journey starts out rough. I see no reason to hide mine.
Gotcha.
Right.
Out of curiosity, because I know Wizards of the Coast was huge in the news very recently, were you at all concerned with this whole, you guys have to start paying us for this stuff?
I'm not personally concerned, mostly because one of the added benefits of my Taz dub is that all of the names are changed, so they're not connected to Wizards whatsoever.
Nice.
Smart. Good.
Definitely a bummer for me as a D&D player, seeing all that stuff been going on recently, but that's fine. I can find other systems. I've been playing Powered by the Apocalypse for years. I still have my Vampire the Masquerade rulebook sitting on my desk right now. I could learn how that works, finally.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of stuff to dust off. Thankfully, I know they've reversed a lot of their ideas of what they wanted to do. It's just now, of course, you know, we're all concerned that you thought of it in the first place. But yeah. D&D has always been, D&D and voice actors for some reason kind of go hand in hand. I was a big D&D player when I was much younger. I know Renara is very into it. I don't know, Eldurrino, if you ever really got into the D&D scene?
Not specifically with D&D, but I have played a lot of other role-playing board games, and I almost always try to include voices just because that's what me and my friends do. And we always thought that we were super weird for doing so. But then I meet people like you, they're like, yeah, no, we talk to ourselves all the time and make up silly sounds. And I'm like, cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like Fire and Brimstone saying in chat, Critical Role definitely would have seen a huge hit. Okay. I'm getting off topic. I apologize. We know.
Okay.
Hey, we said it would be chaotic in some form, so
Absolutely.
Bring me back for a D&D podcast. I have thoughts.
You know, it's funny because we're actually looking at doing campaigns for yeah. So we may take you up on coming in for one of those. So we'll see what happens.
adding you to my notes of list of people I'm DMing for. Got it, right? How much emotional damage am I going to put on all of you today? Got it, right?
Oh dear.
So Xander, a couple of times you had mentioned about this Level Up Expo, as well as, well, I guess you hadn't mentioned this one yet, but
Yes.
The Isekai Anime Con. You want to tell us a little bit about those and what you guys do?
Yes, absolutely. So Level Up Expo is a con that runs from usually in February. This year it'll be from the 17th to the 19th at in the Las Vegas area. It's their own little con. That's where we run our voice acting competition. I believe this was brought up last time Buka was on here, but we have, you know, the first couple days we audition people out, and if they want to compete, and we think that they're ready to step up onto the mics, they are welcomed to join the competition proper on Sunday, which is when the actual competition itself happens. And we over the course of the weekend, they can come and grab us, and we will coach them through scenes. We will give them line reads, really try to sharpen up their performance so that when they do step up to dub over these scenes for real on the competition night, they sound their absolute best.
Nice.
I competed in it last year, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. It's excellent. For Isekai Con, or Isekai Anime, I believe it's called. So this is actually a baby con in, I believe, Salt Lake City, Utah. And we were invited to not only bring the competition from Level Up with us, but they actually asked us to run one of our workshops there as well. So if there are people in Utah who want to see how we run things, we should have a day where we're doing that. I will also be coaching at that one, as well as being one of the judges. So that'll be fun.
Oh boy.
Nice.
I'm very excited for that.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead,
Random
Renara.
question that goes up completely in that field.
Sure.
Because that's how my brain works. No. In regards to roles that you've had, what would you say is the role that has taught you the most by going through the process of doing it? What did you learn?
I'm trying to think because there's so many. There's a lot of characters I've played around with. I think the one that definitely comes to mind it's actually with the Tazda project. There is this character named Bogard Stoneseeker, and
nice.
He is as gravelly as his name sounds.
Nice.
And that was one of the first times I had to really put grit into my voice. And my voice was gone by the end of that session.
No.
And I learned very quickly the dangers of trying to, hit those voices without using the right parts of your throat, learning how to sustain your voice and figure out how to keep that going for a while and know it. Most importantly, knowing when to tap out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think a lot of people can expand their vocal range to much wider than they realize, but you can't just jump like headlong into it. You have to be careful and you have to slowly experiment over time. You hear me play Bovis on that now, and I could slip into that very easily now. Was not the case when I was first starting, and there was a much similar voice to that.
Sure.
Fair enough. I know Eldurrino's our resident gravel voice in the party.
One of my favorite examples when it comes to somebody who changes their voices was Michael Dorn. When he first started doing Worf, he would really try to, but as he progressed in that role, his voice naturally just started going deeper and deeper, and it's just much easier for it. So yeah, the more you practice it, if that's what you're aiming for, by all means, that's going to come up.
The young millennial just had a moment of didn't understand who that was and then caught up. So
it took me a second, but then I heard Worf and I was like, I'm on! I'm back in!
Thank you. High five, Sander. Thank you for give me something. Go, yeah.
I will certainly say, as a kind of self-proclaimed expert when it comes to doing rough voices for voice acting, make sure it's something you can do consistently and you're not going to cause yourself to almost pass out in your booth like I have done a few times.
Really?
Well done.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here, quick.
Wait.
Eldurrino.
Hold on.
Oh. What?
And now, boys and girls, it's time for
Starry Time with
Eldurrino.
I have never heard that before.
Excellent.
Ever. Oh my
Hello,
God.
boys and girls, and welcome back to Storytime with Eldurrino. Today we're discussing doing rough voices in the booth. So there was one project that I was signed up for, and I had to do a warrior type voice.
It was a very deep and growly type voice, and I had to speak like this for extensive lines.
Well, I also had to do 3 takes of each one, and overall, I'd say there's probably about an hour and a half or so of material that I had to do 3 times, so it'd be 4.5 hours. And during this, there was not a whole lot of shouting, but there was parts where I had to really emote a bit more. And instead of
speaking very calmly or planning like, I would need to say, that is not of your concern.
So there was a few times in which I had to get very loud like that, and I basically pushed all the blood to my head, and I almost pulled a Schemmel in the studio and pass out. So lesson is make sure that when you're doing weird voices that strain your throat, you practice them enough and know your limits.
Agreed.
See you next time.
Never go full Schemmel.
No.
Yes, exactly.
Well, since we're going to be starting we're in the last 10 minutes. So let me ask you the questions that I always ask. If you were able to go back to 2018 at the very start and talk to yourself, what would be the advice that you would give yourself?
Well, first I'd probably go back and say, hi, Xander. This isn't only a one-way time machine. I wish you could go back further and start doing this when you were younger, because you would have thanked yourself for it. However, since we're here anyway, understand that while this is a very hard road to walk, a lot of the time, not only is there going to be, and I'm sure everyone knows this, there is a lot of rejection in voice acting, and there are a lot of doors that close without you even getting a chance to say, you have even a lot of doors close. It's bad. And worst of all is that sometimes you don't even get to enjoy your own successes because it felt too easy sometimes. And you'll feel like, oh, you're a fraud. How did you do this? You saw all that rejection. And I've said this earlier, please know your own worth. Like, we put the work in, we study, we work hard, and most importantly, at least for me, I love doing this more than anything in the world. If I had to stop doing all of my hobbies and just focus on voice acting, I think that'd be a pretty good life.
There you go.
So walk that confidently.
Oh, I like that.
I like that too.
Also, you're the first person ever to say, I wish I could go back further than when I first started. So thank you for that. Yeah. We've talked a lot when it comes to imposter syndrome. I'm terrible. I mean, I've had to get snapped out of it a couple of times, and thankfully there's a support system, and you want to build on that, and you want to make sure you have that, and 50% of it's actually in these windows. So thank you guys, and yeah. So, and I'm sure you hear this a lot, so it's going to be a very similar question when it comes to how does one get started with voice acting?
I mean, personally, just do it. Why are you hesitating? It doesn't matter if the microphone sounds terrible and you're not getting cast for anything. Are you having fun? Just get out there and do the thing. Yeah. If you find that it's not fun later on, you walk away and say, hey, at least I tried. If it's really fun and you want to keep going, just keep going. But you're not going to know either way until you get out there and just take the leap.
I love that.
Well said.
Absolutely.
I don't need to say anything. I don't need to say anything today because everything has.
Well,
just
we're
been
all
said by
saying
Xander,
something.
So I'm
but
good.
yeah. Very cool. Co-hosts, questions that you might have. Eldurrino, you've been very good about bringing up the stuff that I forget. So,
no, I mean, we've pretty much talked about any other things. I will say, thank you for being on, first of all, because again, I always love inviting people on or talking to people that are in different facets of the voice acting journey. Not always just voice actors, but coaches and directors and producers. All in all, though, this leads me to my final question. What is your favorite pizza topping?
Excellent. Yes. First off, I want to say thank you for having me. You guys are very sweet, and I love bouncing off you guys and figuring out, just talking about the journey. This is super fun. I hope to talk to you guys again sometime soon.
Of course.
Pizza toppings. I am of the opinion that anything belongs on pizza.
Oh no.
Pizza is the food of the people, and we should be able to throw anything on pizza and figure out if it tastes good or not. That's how we get Hawaiian pizza.
Okay.
I will fight people on Hawaiian pizza. That being said, if I had to pick a favorite, I actually really like fire roasted veggies on my pizza.
Ooh.
I like that
Yeah.
crunch from like the peppers and the mix of like tomatoes and mushrooms. Good
Nice.
stuff.
Great
I'll,
choice.
I'll,
great
I'll,
choice.
I'll give you a pass on that one then. I'll give you a pass on the wire there. Now, I have one small question.
Please.
Talking about possibly, considering it is a new year, new starting of the journey, what is like, if there's a pinnacle project that you want to be involved in any capacity, what would that be? Be it a large like gaming corporation or a show or anything, what are you hoping to manifest?
Honestly, it sounds cheesy, but I would be excited to be a part of anything because I love the process of making something come to life. I will say if I had to really hammer it down, anything in animations, particularly indie animation, it sounds so silly when I say it, but I really want to have a character that I just own. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am the voice of this character, and no one will ever take them from me.
I love that.
Like,
Absolutely.
1000% can see that happening. I'm just gonna say that now. I can 1000% to see that You're a charismatic, wonderful person, and I have no doubt that you will eventually get to that point.
Thank you.
You know,
I'll be working at it.
Let me reformat that question a little bit and say, Xander, in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
I really, I'm not going to say I hope because I plan on getting there. So at that point, I'd be in my 30s. I would love to be working in animation, in video games. I really like audio dramas. A lot of my work is passed by listening to various audio dramas I just come across or recommended. So I would love to be able to bring those to life because, I mean, it's basically modern radio drama, and I love that. I love that art form is still going. I'm just gonna keep swinging in anything that makes me happy, and hopefully, within 5 years' time, I will be paid enough for my time where I can just do it all the time.
There we go.
None of this side job stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, Xander, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and letting us talk to you. It's always so much fun to listen to somebody's journey and how you got to where you got. So again, thank you so much for giving us that time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, thank you again, everybody. Everybody in chat, thank you again so much. Wannabe Voices, Heidi Sprite, Katie Cat, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to our mods, Magmorta. Thanks, everybody who was here, Fire and Brimstone. Always a pleasure to have you all in chat and bouncing off ideas, even if you're fighting amongst yourselves. Please don't do that. If you have any questions, anything you want us to talk about, please feel free to email us, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. Also, go ahead, if you want to join our Discord, come on over. We'd love to have you on board. We're online. We're available if you have any questions. And then
the chaos.
Yes, we have a good network of people that we can forward your question to if we can't personally answer them. I know Dorino's been really good about some sound editing stuff on there, so just come on over and talk to us. Yeah. We'd love to have you. Although, if you have any audio, we would love to listen to it. Like I mentioned before, our last episode, we had an opportunity to listen to some and give some constructive feedback. Keep in mind, we're not mean. Everybody goes through it. We've done it to ourselves, and we've improved because of it. So please do so.
We literally did some before stream today.
Yeah.
Literally.
Excuse me. Well, with that, I believe next week is my intro. We are going to be We have a very loose topic, and I love it. That we may be looking into AI stuff, and
Oh, yep.
Oh, the looming threat returns. I wonder if that's what my intro was secretly talking about.
Ooh.
But yes.
Oh, now I get it. Sorry, I'm joking.
Guys, if you have any comments for us, please, we'd love to just hear anything. Follow us on YouTube, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Renara is doing a lot of good work with the shorts, and paying attention to our Twitter, which is now at Cold Read Council. So come on and join us on there too.
I'm still proud that we managed to snag that just because I did Legend of Cold Read. I'm sorry.
We're becoming meta.
Yes! I do plan on eventually, hopefully, making that like an animated series. Like that would be like really cool eventually.
Oh, we're gonna have some
cool.
words, Renara. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. As I don't want to put the pressure on Renara, let's all just offer one quick thing for people that want to move forward, and I will start it with what I said. If you fall, pick yourself up and keep going. Anyone else?
Don't kick yourself while you're down either, because we all tend to get in our own heads and we all suffer from that imposter syndrome. And look, you have a lot of talent and you need to recognize that. Get back up on your feet, keep going.
I'm going to quote something, and if anyone knows what this quote is, you are awesome people. If you can't run, crawl, and if you can't crawl, find someone to carry you. And for anyone who knows what that quote is,
It's from Firefly.
Good, thank you.
I googled it. I cheated.
Oh, you bastard! You utter bastard! I thought we were friends, Eld.
All right. Again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Zander. We'll catch y'all later. Little microwaves on the way out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Drink water.
Oh, almost dropped my...
Drink water!
Yes.